Bueno, me llamo Salvador para WPLaunchClub.com. Hey, it's Spence from WPLaunchClub.com with your WordPress tip of the day. Today I want to tell you about a really outstanding translation plugin and service called Weglot that is really something you should look at whenever you're doing sales funnels, marketing automation, or e-commerce, especially if you're using our Launch Flows product. And here's why. Unlike the other competitors in the space, Weglot has a combination of SaaS and plugin that delivers an amazing set of services for anybody who's got a site where they're selling in more than one language. And that's really important because even though the really majority of people around the world can deal with an English-only website, there are many instances whereby you're going to want to sell in somebody's native language to make sure that your sales funnel copy and otherwise are immediately having the most effect. Plus, in combination with the other plugins that we've shown you here on WP Launch Club, including the ability to do a currency switcher, that gives somebody the feeling that you care enough to give it to them the way they need to understand exactly what they're buying, how they're buying it, and how much they're paying. Let me give you a quick rundown because Weglot is really easy to set up. One of the biggest differences is that Weglot is a SaaS product and you can try it for free. So if you go to their site, just use the try it free button. And when you do, you'll get access to a very simple set of setups. It took me no less than 5 seconds to copy the API key, install the Weglot plugin to WordPress, paste the key, save it, and I was done. At that point, the configuration is really easy. I'm going to put myself out of the way here a bit. You can see that on the actual setup in the dashboard, we've got the translations that I've enabled. You can have as many as you wish. I'm just doing Spanish and English because I do have a little bit of ability to speak and read in Spanish. If you have multiple languages, they will all show up in the switcher. Now you've also got the ability to do statistics, which we could come back to about things that would be translated. And then there's the generic settings, but some of these I'm just going to review real quick because they make all of the difference. First of all, I'm telling it the project name, and I've enabled what I think is really important, the auto switcher. This means that out of the box, somebody will be able to go back and forth to their native language, but they'll also keep the preference in their browser as long as the cookies and the cache are working with it. It also allows you to do external links, like if you send somebody outside your site to some kind of sales page or webinar promotion and so forth. But in general, this is the most important setting, giving the URL of your site, auto switching, enable external links. Now, I also have the ability, if I want, and I didn't do it here, to customize the various things like the language switcher, the exclusions, like which pages should only be in what language and not. I've also got that API key, which of course you can see my key. If you use my key, it won't work, but that's where you'll get your key. And then here's the WordPress settings, which you can also customize further. In this case, all I did was to translate the search. You could use the AMP pages or the email function, which is a nice option, but not necessary. And then I've also got the ability to have more than one team member for various customizations. Now, there is an ability as well to add custom library items and so forth. But this is all I needed to do, is I literally grabbed that API key. I went over here in my original setup, and there was a Weglot menu. So if I open that in a new tab, I pasted in that key, and you'll kind of see a mirror of the same things here. Out of the box, had the ability to have a default button. Now what I did instead was I used the new feature that Weglot just released that allows me to add either via shortcode or via Gutenberg block the Weglot translation widget or button. And this is a really simple, very effective, seems to work on all responsive browser sizes way to give somebody the choice what they want as their default language. And I also allow you to put the display name of the languages. You can have some CSS overrides. You could change the style a little bit and so forth. So you've got a couple choices. You can do your exclusions and your other things here in WordPress if you don't want to go in your Weglot dashboard. And you also have those other options that I just showed you. So whether you work in WordPress, you work in your SaaS menu of Weglot.com, really thoughtful, really well done. More importantly, let's look at the site. So here on the site, I have got Weglot enabled. The big difference between Weglot and some of the other translation plugins is it's not designed to customize the strings of plugins or things in particular. Instead, it essentially scans your entire site with the exception of the URLs you exclude, and it translates it on the fly. that is so powerful in so many ways, because essentially, even though you can customize it, it just makes it easy. No matter what your content is, it's automatically in one of those languages that you've designated. So here using Spanish, I have got the translation button or the switcher up in the top, and you've seen this in many ways. If I go with the English site, this is available to me on any of the pages, or it just stays with me as I browse around. But let's go instead to Spanish, and you'll notice right here, the language goes on all of the content right into Spanish. And if, for example, I went over to my store, La Tienda, I will see that all of those items are also in Spanish because it sticks with me. Now, here's what's neat. With launch flows, because we have custom sales funnels, you also get the benefit of all the powerful 2 or 3 or 4 languages to sell. So you'll notice that here, even though it's just a simple layout in one of the custom product sales pages, when I add it to the cart, I'm going to have everything follow along. When I get to the custom checkout, this is the neat part. I'm showing you 2 different ways you can do this. Here, I've put in a custom Gutenberg block that allows me to position this anywhere I want. And here, I've done it where I've put it into the navigation menu. I can put this translation switcher button anywhere I want, which means that you give the person at the time of checkout whatever control you want them to have. And I think that's really important, because even though it's true that maybe I'm browsing through in one language, maybe when I'm done, I want to actually check out in another language. So the control is yours, and it's really simple to customize. So there's multiple ways. You can do it in template tags, you can do it with some JavaScript, you can do it with shortcode, and now you can do it with blocks. So inside of here, let's refresh this page. We will see that I have done this in 2 ways. In the actual custom page itself, I simply used the new Gutenberg block. It was just loading there for a second. I went into here and I typed Weglot, and there's the Weglot widget, and I essentially just dragged it into place, and now I've got wherever I want it. In this case, I put it at the top. I could mix it inside of other blocks. I also have the ability for the navigation menu. I went into Customize, and I happen to be using Cadence, but it works with any theme you want. And I went ahead, and in that case, I used an HTML component inside of the top navigation. So I went inside of header, and you'll notice here on the right side of my main section, I've got an HTML block, and I just put the little snippet of code, the HTML snippet that through some JavaScript magic pulls in the same thing. So wherever you want to put it, super easy. It can also be conditionally displayed and so forth. Plus, with all the other power and settings, Weglot is really the only choice for us over at WPLaunchClub, WPLaunchFi, and so forth, because when I've got a situation that I know my audience is mostly going to be using a secondary language, there's absolutely no reason to deny them. Price-wise, Weglot may be a tiny bit more than one of the static plugins, but the benefit that pays for it over and over is that it's translating everything automatically. And in doing so, it gives you really way more of a payback on, increased conversions, reducing churn, and customer satisfaction. And as I've said so many times here, the ultimate goal for you is to customize your user journey and make everybody feel that you really care about giving them exactly what they need. I can't think of any better plugin in order to make that happen than Weglot. So go check it out yourself. It's free, which is amazing. For 10 days, you just click here and they give you a full account. There's a couple things that you won't do with the customized URL strings, but 99% of the stuff you need to demonstrate for yourself that it's the right thing, all there for you. This is my tip of the day. I'll see you on the next video.